Hello everyone, welcome to the Godzilla Advent Calendar for 2025. My name is Matthew and this is day 4, minus this laggy wheel. There is a lot of pie charts on this thing anyway. So yesterday was day 3 and we did the monster. It's Mechagodzilla Final Battle variants, which for today we're going to spin the wheel and see which one we get. Looks like we're getting a Playmates. The Playmates Kong with Battle Axe from GXK. Not a bad one. Alright, let's take a look. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Godzilla Advent Calendar. My name is Matthew, and today is episode 4 of the 5th annual Godzilla Advent Calendar for 2025. This episode, we're taking a look at the Playmates Godzilla Kong, the New Empire Battle X Kong from Playmates Toys, which, for a little bit of context, is a different release to the previous films Battle X Kong, which for some reason Playmates still insists on releasing in the newer box packaging, which I don't know why they keep that mold floating around when they have a much better one. I don't know. Playmates just their figures seem to question me more than actually satisfy me half of the times. But enough indulging. This is from the New Empire. So with that being said, let's take a look at this guy. So for the actual mold, it's based on the New Empire design, which is going to be a bit more updated from the Godzilla vs. Kong design, which is a little bit more defined, if you can actually believe the New Empire has better CG, so to speak, than Godzilla vs. Kong does, because in my personal opinion, the New Empire, it does not, but that's more of a critique of the movies and not the actual figures. The face sculpt, however, is a lot better done, because on the last one, it was a lot more simplistic and goofy looking. This actually looks like it has a lot more detail with it, and actually has like a correct color scheme, like dark brown to light gray ratio, instead of a more lighter gray to more putrid black that looks more like tar on his face than actual skin tone. For the mouth here, we have a bit of like a snaggletooth going on, and some actually decently done like paint for the eyes, although mine are a bit spread apart unfortunately, so that is a kind of minor dud. But the nose is done really well. Pecs are pretty well done with some very nice, that's my cats fighting in the background anyway. Scars for the chest here. A little bit of overspray here, kind of looks like he's wearing a vest. Kind of a similar problem, ironically, to the Toys G21 Heat Ray version. But you do get a little bit like mold line here from what I have seen. But you do get a fair amount of like detail work here. They actually added like these scars to make it a little bit more defined right here, and then select parts of the body like right here, and then trying to find, there was another part of the body that had it. Anyway, we'll come across it eventually. But yeah, for the back here, they actually do have a lot of the nice detail here, which it does look really sweet. I'll give it that. So it actually has a lot of nice detail work. You might see a speck of blue, and I have to assume that's from the included battle axe, which is just to do a brief comparison of the blues here. I just realized how, like, there's like a friggin', is that a fingerprint? I don't know. I don't really see this thing under intensive lighting, because it is kind of more towards the back of my shelf. But just to see, this is a remold of the GVK battle axe with some upgraded paint for the actual axe blade. I wish they would color this to more maybe like a green or like a blackish color, because there was different colors used in the films. But this blue is actually also carried from the the Energized Godzilla, which ironically enough, I think that works better for this thing than it does for that. I'm not saying that because that figure is a steaming pile of hot crap. I mean, I'm literally just saying that. But it is a flexible rubber, and it goes in either hand, but it's supposed to go in this one because Kong is supposed to be right-handed. Crap. and you do get a bit of a better grip this time around, which kind of brings us to the articulation, which we have for the head. You can go a full 360 with it. Swivel hinges for the shoulders, as well as, well, swivels. Swivel hinges for the elbows here. Swivels for the wrists. Nothing here at the waist, even though there is an obvious seam line that is just glue. Swivel hinges for the hips, so you can swivel a little bunch, go back and forth. And a hinge for the knees. So, overall, so to speak, I definitely think that this is an upgrade from the original. Nothing too, like, overly fantastic, especially since we have things like the Monster Arts and the Hiya Toys variants out. This is a fine, like, toy if you want to get for your kids, because, to my knowledge, stockage is a little dwindling, especially around this time of year where Playmates is. There's no like big MonsterVerse tentpole that was released this year. The closest thing that ironically was released, it was the Shin Godzilla 4K re-release. And when someone looks at that, they're not going to go, huh, Shin Godzilla in theaters. I'm going to go buy my kid a King Kong figure. Like, no, that's not typically how it works. But anyways, just kind of like say my 2 cents. This figure is pretty good. I definitely have fallen out of love with it a little bit, just because like I was impressed with the sculpt at the time, but obviously I've got my eyes more set on some other bigger figures with like higher quality. And who knows, maybe within the next year I might end up selling off my Playmate stuff, because admittedly I am kind of losing interest in Playmates, but I'll still stick around. I do want to get that Frostvark though, because it's either that or nothing when it comes to a Monarch figure. And Monarch Season 2 is coming out with this big screen time leech, thanks to Godzilla. Kind of like overshadowing. That's a joke, by the way. For legal reasons, that's a joke. Anyways, thank you for watching. Stay tuned for day 5 of the Advent calendar, whenever that might be, tomorrow. And I'm currently still recovering from the flu. Still got a bit of a sore throat, as you can probably tell, but we're still getting to it. It's a slow recovery process day by day. Stay hydrated. To those who are sick, drink apple juice. Trust me, it'll do wonders for the throat, and you'll thank me later. Anyways, that's all I have. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for day 5. Peace out, everyone.